Welcome to the Lucidez podcast, where I explore everything, because I believe in the infinite, unbounded potential within each of us. This is Shelley, a fellow seeker and a lover of life's mysteries. I invite you to join me and explore your uncharted depths. It is early morning, and I wanted to share a small bit of wisdom that I've been playing with, and that is concerning 3 emotions that I have been very present in the last 15 years, but were not there before. And I'm grateful that I have the ability to look at times before the rape so that I understand how I was before this incident. And there are many things that I would like to return to. There's 3 specific things I see myself struggling with right now, and that is fear and pain and negativity. And what I've begun to realize, I think I've seen it or I've wondered about it, but never seen it clearly until the last week. And really, I've honed in on it in the last 24 hours. I've spent a good bit of time alone, just sitting and feeling into this. And I'm going to try to find a visual analogy for how it feels. So I've had these 3 emotions, energies, feelings that happened at the rape, and that is the fear, the pain, and negativity is a nice way, I think, of saying hatred. A hatred and negativity. So those 2 are a little bit synonymous in this, in what I'm speaking about here. So what I've noticed over the last, since the rape, is that they suddenly were a very present part of my being after the rape, or for obvious reasons. But because the rape was over, it was like they were untethered and they haven't had a quote home, so to speak. And so it's like having these 3 live wires attached to me, and they just flail about and whip around and attach to all different types of events or people or things. And I'll suddenly, so let's say the fear wire is flailing about and an event will happen, or I'll see something and the fear wire will attach to it and it will tell me this big story about what it all means, or who that person really is, or any such thing. Or I've got this flailing wire of negativity, sometimes hatred, and it's like doesn't know what to do. And so it, I'll meet someone or something will happen and it will immediately attach to it and say, yeah, and this person is like that, and all this negativity and hatred. Or, I have this flailing wire of pain and it'll attach to some event or some person, something, and be like, yeah, that is what's causing your pain. And then, it's like I'll resolve that, I'll leave that, move away from that event or that experience or that person and find relief and keep going on with my life. But then I still have these 3 live wires just, flailing about. And suddenly something else will happen. And oh, there's fear again. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of that. And I'm afraid of that. And I feel so negative about that person, or I feel so negative about that event, or there's so much pain. There's just so much pain, And so I began to understand that as I heal the rape, it's like I still have these 3 live wires of pain and fear and negativity. And they just keep flailing about like they have nowhere to ground, no way to ground. The rape is long over. It's done, and none of these other things are even good substitutes. I know that sounds strange to say, but those are the words that are coming. Like, they're all poor substitutes. None of them are nearly as painful or negative or, terrifying as the rape was. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do with these? I mean, there's two parts. One, I don't want them anymore, but I don't know how to just get rid of them. And before all of you jump in and say, "Hey, I have got the way," let's just say that Shelley's gonna find her way. Same way I let you find your way. I want to find my way, um, and I will. so, so there's these three things that are flailing about, and I very much want to remove them from me. One, because it's not enjoyable to live in this vessel with them, and two, because they're so destructive to my relationships. And they can play out in really big ways. They can become like big monstrous stories and whatever, but they can also play out in little insidious sort of hidden ways where there's just like this little undercurrent of negativity towards someone, or this little undercurrent of fear about someone. Are they really safe? And so they play out in big and small ways, and I'm starting to see that they're just kind of always awake, alive, present. And I share that for myself. Again, it's just me sharing my journey and starting to see that. And I think for me, I've always said, when I see something, I'm halfway to home, meaning me being able to identify kind of what is going on and how it's affecting myself and my life. It's like halfway to home. I'm almost to a home run. Once I see it, I'm really able to start to navigate. And my first sense, and what I've been doing just in the last 24 hours as I've seen these three pop up in not big ways, but in just little ways, I'm gently unattaching them from whatever they've chosen to attach to. Meaning, an experience recently, there was pain, and I was like, that's a lot of pain for that experience. And I realized, okay, that's more pain than that experience would generally elicit. So I realized a lot of the pain that I've attached to that is from my trauma. Or, another experience, and I was like, that's a lot of negativity you feel toward that person. Like, that's more negativity than that situation really would warrant. I think that you might be putting, a bigger, you're attaching some of the negativity or the hatred about your rape to that person, to that situation, or the fear, like you're really afraid of that. And I don't think it's that scary. Lots of people do it and it seems to go okay. So maybe that fear doesn't really need to attach to that event. So I'm gently unattaching the fear from that event and unattaching the negativity from that person, unattaching the pain from this other experience, and just in a way, I guess, holding them, being present to them, and just, I've literally been speaking to them and just saying, hey, like, it's okay. Like, those actually aren't appropriate. Not appropriate isn't the right word. Those aren't the responses that I know that I've had to these kinds of situations before the rape. They're not the kind of responses I want to have. I also don't hate fear or hate pain or hate negativity. They have a place in my life. And I know, people may be like, oh, whatever, negativity. Again, like, I'm not here to judge your life. Let's give each other the space to have our own journeys and learn in our own ways. And for now, it feels like holding pain and holding fear and holding this negativity and unattaching them from people and events and experiences is, in a way, liberating, which sounds weird because you would think if I were holding them, I would feel constrained or imprisoned by them, but it's quite the opposite. I am holding them and I have freed up all these other things from bearing the burden of where it doesn't belong. And I'm giving myself a chance to breathe and be like, it's okay. It's just okay that these are here. It's okay. This is what I'm like right now. It's okay that I've misplaced these energies. I can do better now that I know, now that I see. I want to live differently. And so that's as far as I am in this process, but I wanted to share it because I just found it so fascinating to think of me walking through life with these energies that haven't yet found a way to ground back down into being here on this earth, to being here on this earth. I think part of me has still been living up above the earth in the ether somewhere, quite afraid to come back and live on this earth. The rape was so damaging, just so damaging. But I'd like, in holding this pain and this fear and this negativity, I think in a way I'm inviting all the parts of myself to come back and be here on the earth, to ground with me in this human body as this human being, with all the blessings, but also all the atrocities. I mean, there's no guarantees in life. I know that now, and I still want to live, and I still want to live the most beautiful life I can. And I want to live with all the parts of me, which I'm getting so good at not judging myself and just saying, this is how I am. This is who I am. And today is this day. I have no idea who I'll be tomorrow, but I'll love that one too. And I love all the ones of yesterday's. So I am coming more and more home, and not to some perfected being, but just to being, and to appreciating the process. I began to realize that I thought somehow getting on the witness stand, and while it was literally my Everest, it was monumental, it didn't suddenly resolve everything in the way I had hoped. And there's much more, and I'm okay. I'm okay with there being more. And that's big for me to say, and not to run away, because I'm a big runner. So there's my little tidbit for this morning. I hope that there's, if nothing else, just the humor of imagining me walking around with 3 big live wires flailing around. And if you're in my life and you're intimate and close with me, and we have a moment where maybe you see one of these at play, I wouldn't say you can just jump right in and say, "Hey, Shell, look at this." You might want to cautiously approach, because I am very human. But and I do have friends and family that will, especially my kids, and I have one specific friend I'm thinking about who can kind of gently tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you want to look at that?" And it's hard. It's hard to see when you're not behaving well, especially when your behavior might be hurting them or hurting someone else, or hurting yourself in a way that you couldn't see. So I'm always open. I'm always wanting to see myself more clearly, but I do need it to be done gently, because I have plenty of doubts and misgivings and insecurities, and more than anything, just want to know that I'm loved and cared for and adored and valued. And I would want those same things for you if you want those, and if not, then whatever is your heart's desire, that's what I want for you as well. So Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for exploring with me on the Lucidess podcast. It is my hope that you discovered new wisdom within yourself and are inspired to live your unique strokes of genius.